Hello everybody. So recently I've taken a different approach to this channel. I've just been manically experimenting with different stuff because I didn't know what I wanted to do with this channel, but mainly with myself in terms of what's the next step for me in life, because I don't have a goal. I don't have a passion for anything. I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know what's going on anymore. So I've just been doing a lot of video creation, not just on YouTube, but also TikTok. I literally have 2 accounts. For those who found me through my YouTube shorts, I've been uploading mainly toy unboxing videos or just blind box unboxing videos because I do enjoy them and I personally consume that kind of content on TikTok on a daily basis. So that's why I decided to also start my own journey in that, where I do ASMR and blind box / toy unboxing. I still have like a pile of toys in the background waiting for me to unbox. But while that dopamine hit lasted for a while, it kind of came down a little bit because one, kind of have to spend a lot of money on, buying toys and doing unboxing videos. It gets to a point where it's hard to keep up with that because I don't have a job, period. So I can't really be spending a lot of money on acquiring toys and blind boxes. While I do want to do those for longer, I do see it slowing down a lot more. In my previous video, I was making squishies, I was unboxing toys, I was just doing random stuff, mostly DIY related. I do find a lot of joy in making stuff hands-on, like as you can probably tell with my background. There's a lot of, okay, this is like opposite direction, so I'm getting confused, but I do a lot of DIY stuff. I have a Coraline door. That's the pile of toys that I was talking about. And then the bunch of squishies that I made manically. And also I handmade Coraline door, abstraction mirror decoration, all made out of cardboard. So I really like doing DIYs. I don't know, like it's a part of, creative process and how I express myself, which growing up, it definitely was not encouraged by the environment. So getting to this age, I'm fortunate enough to rediscover my love and passion for creative expression through art, literally creating DIY projects, and also now getting back into drawing stuff. So when I was like in my teens, I did draw a lot on sketchbooks and stuff, but now that I have an iPad and I invested in Procreate, I've mainly moved on to digital art, and that's what I wanted to talk about today. Kind of share with you guys what I've been doing recently. So yeah, all that stuff that I just said previously, it was just basically me trying to explain what I've been doing with this channel, or just like with my life in general. I'm taking it to the next step, which is focusing more on creative expression through digital art. I've been doing not a lot, but I've been starting to do live streams on both YouTube Live and Twitch, which I just opened up the account a couple of days ago. So if you would like to, feel free to follow me on Twitch. I still haven't really decided where I want to invest my time more, which platform I would like to choose, but I guess I would start off with YouTube because at least I have some following, whereas on Twitch it's just like completely ground zero. Nobody knows that I exist. It gets a little discouraging and humiliating starting something that's completely new and having no one watching it. And this is not me like boo-hoo crying like please come watch me, like I'm begging for viewers. It's like, no, I feel this need to explain what steps I'm taking next. All that to say, in today's video I would like to share some of my art pieces that I've been doing recently, because this is something that I find very enjoyable, that I like spending hours doing. So that's gotta mean something. Like that's gotta mean something, because if it doesn't, then I literally have nothing left in this life for me to look forward to or live for. And I'm also tapping into some light animation work, nothing too professional. I am very much so amateur, so have a lot to learn and figure out. But anyways, hope you guys enjoy this video and let's get right into it. What you're seeing right now is my homepage on Procreate. And for those who don't know, Procreate is basically an app, a software for artists to create graphics, drawings, any digital art. You can use this app to do that. Procreate Dreams, which is specifically for animation. I just started using Procreate Dreams very recently, maybe like 2-3 weeks. I'm still getting familiar with Procreate Dreams, but even with Procreate, like this drawing app, it really took me a long time to familiarize myself with all the functions in here, and I still don't know everything. One thing that drawing digitally taught me is that I have to really be patient with learning all this stuff, especially being as impatient as I am. It gets really frustrating in the beginning when I'm trying to figure everything out and know every function. The more I draw, the more I figure out what works best for me and what helps me work quicker and more efficiently instead of wasting time on something that could have been done with like one click. I thought I would just go through some of my work on Procreate. This first one over here. Oh, okay, so I guess I tagged dates back in the day, which I probably should. I don't know if I can like look at the dates in the piece of art. Like, I don't think I can. Bottom right over here, 2021, that is 5 years ago. I was still in college when I drew this. I actually do remember the whole scenario when I first drew this piece, which is from Spirited Away, my favorite Miyazaki film. It's definitely something. It's not horrible, but you can see how I really just don't care about perfecting the background, and that's kind of still is the case to this day, because background is just something that I struggle to do in general, because one, I don't know what to put in the background. Two, if I'm doing like a copy other people's artwork situation like this one, backgrounds are the most difficult thing for some reason. So yeah, anyways, at that point I just started using Procreate. I don't even remember what was the motivation of me buying and downloading Procreate in the first place. Like, I didn't know at that time I took art seriously enough to buy an app. I was kind of just doing this for shits and giggles, was not taking this seriously. I just wanted to draw something digitally because I didn't have materials to draw on a sketchbook. Like, I didn't have my color pencils, acrylic. I did go through a phase with acrylic art, anime art specifically. I was into that for a while before I left for college, and I guess to kind of fill that gap or that emptiness of like, oh, I want to create but I don't have materials to, I decided to transition that into digital artwork. The line work is questionable and there's barely any layers. It's just 2 layers, the line layer and the coloring layer, because back then I didn't know anything about layering. I just wanted to put the whole piece together. Very messy work, not clean line work. Things are like out of line, as you can tell. For the longest time, I always questioned my credibility as an artist. Like, I feel cringe saying that I'm an artist because all I knew what to do my whole life when it comes to art is I know how to copy other people's work. Like, if you give me a reference photo, I can copy it. And not just like tracing work copy. I'm talking about I look at something and I draw it. And I can do a pretty decent job at it, but I don't know what my style is. I can't draw without reference. Like, if you just give me a blank canvas and tell me to draw something, I can't. So for the longest time, I just doubted myself as an artist, because I feel like to be an artist, you have to know everything when it comes to human anatomy, lighting, perspectives, all those like theory stuff. Like, I need to know that, but I don't know any of that. And I still don't, by the way. Like, I did not spend time studying those stuff. So that's why the art that I can do is very limited. So like, I feel unqualified in that sense when it comes to expressing creativity. It took me a while to get to where I'm at now. It's just the beginning of what I want to do. You will see as time progresses, the art kind of shifts a little bit, because I used to just heavily focus on anime art, because I wouldn't say they're the easiest thing, but that's definitely like the good entrance point for a lot of beginners to just like copy and draw? Not bad, not bad. It's actually pretty decent. Now looking at it, it's like, wow, damn. Nowadays, I barely drew anything that's outside of just the head and the neck. Like, I will show you in a bit. You will see what I mean. But back in the day, I copied everything, like from the body. There is no way I can do that without looking at a photo. Blank canvas telling me to draw a human body from head to toe. No, absolutely not. I can't do that. Decent replica, especially for the hands. Like, hands are so difficult for me to draw for some reason. This is kind of impressive, I'm not gonna lie. And then I went through like a hentai erotic era, but I feel like this part of me hasn't really been explained to other people, or if I do show art that is more on like the NSFW explicit side, people usually, they don't misconstrue, but they immediately assume like, oh, like she's a freak, like she's freaky, boo, she's nasty. I don't know how to really verbally express this feeling, but every time I look at hentai work or things that are borderline explicit, not like full on like holes are out, tits are out, sexual body parts being exposed, like that's not the kind of artwork that I personally enjoy. It's implying something, but it's not like in your face, like, oh, I'm seeing dick and balls, pussy, 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 dick, 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 you know what I mean? I don't know. I always find hentai slash erotic artwork empowering. I don't know why. Erotic scene, I feel like in the anime world, usually it's female bodies that get very overly sexualized. In that way, I think people kind of misunderstand the eroticism that comes with art, at least in the modern world. That's how I see it. It's like, it's all about, this is trying to appeal a certain demographic or whatever it is. Usually it's, you know, the female body being presented in a very sexual or violent or gory way. But when I see it, I don't feel disgusted. I don't feel like, oh, what the frick? Like, that's so inappropriate. Like, instead of thinking that way, I'm like, wow, this is so interesting. Like, this is empowering. And I think because I see the artist is trying to provoke the people to react maybe a certain way, or they just want to see people's reactions to their visually shocking artwork. So I kind of see the intention behind the artwork, and that's why it intrigues me so much. But anyways, I don't know what I'm going on about. The closest thing that I can find online that perfectly sums up how I feel is basically eroguro, artistic, literary, and culture movement in Japan. Instead of solely relying on gore, explore the concept of juxtaposing beauty with decay, sexual desire with death, often explores human taboo, psychological, and societal anxieties through very shocking visual metaphors. So that kind of anatomical surrealism is what I find super interesting and empowering. And at some point, when I can finally draw human bodies and figure out human anatomy, I want to start diving into NSFW art more. That's gonna take me a long time to get there, because I genuinely, for the life of me, cannot draw human bodies. Found a reference photo on Google and drew it, and I am so proud of this piece when I first finished it. Most impressive part about this whole thing is the hand that's grabbing her face. If you tell me to do that again right now, absolutely not. How did I do that? I've never done that kind of hand gesture prior to this piece, so I don't know how I recreated that. And the mouth is pretty good with the saliva and stuff. The tongue, questionable, but the mouth and the saliva on the hand is just like my favorite part, and it looks perfect. I don't know how I did it. This is from manga series Pumpkin Night, a very prime example of gore and sexual, visually shocking art. That one is just purely for fetish, but when I see it, it's like I'm not reading it because I'm into gore and I love gory, like, violent stuff. But this weird sense of empowerment and beauty that I feel when I see gory slash sexual art pieces. I was just looking through that manga for inspiration and things to draw. So this was one of the scenes in that gory manga. What do you mean I can draw like a head looking upward? The hand on this one is definitely questionable, but impressed with myself. once again, for the first time, I was like, oh, wait, this actually looks like the scene from the actual anime, because I actually put in effort and figured out how to do the background art without it just being blank or just some fuck ass patterns in the back. This next one, I actually have a YouTube video on this. I explained my whole drawing process, and it took me very long to draw all this texture because I literally have to paint each stroke by stroke. Why does that sound weird? It's not like a brush with multiple strokes. How the fuck did I do this? Like, obviously the circle is like not perfect. It looks really off. Thick over here and then thin on the bottom. It's just wrong. But if you look past that, the inside, like, how did I draw this human being so correctly? You know what I mean? Like, if you look at the Junji Ito's work and then you compare it to this, it's like, okay, she definitely had it in her. Like, she did that for real. I was struggling so much with the face, the anatomy, side profile. Can't do that at all. But this one, I remember it only took me one try, and I was like, hold on, like, is the gods of art like blessing me today? Like, how did I just do this without struggling at all? This one, my second favorite Miyazaki movie, Princess Mononoke. Literally have her mask tatted on me. Damn, it's like the original. Well, obviously not. But if you squint and look at it like this, like when it's like very far away, it's almost like this is the original poster. Background, lore accurate. The wolf, specifically, lore accurate. Like, not to toot my own horn, but damn, like I really did that shadow work. Okay, I'm starting to do layers for this one. Finally, it's clocking to me that I need to do layers. That's what I started with. But I really did that. Like, this one was the first piece where I'm like, who wants to hire me? Like, who's hiring? I mean, 10 out of 10 if you ask me. Next one, we're back to the gore core NSFW art. This is also from the same manga that I mentioned earlier, Pumpkin Night. Now you can understand what I mean by, you know, sexual and violent elements being combined together. That pipe is like a very phallic imagery and her dying because of it, but you can kind of get the message behind it, or at least my interpretation of this piece is like, you know, the violence of men and women being the victim. Also don't know how I recreated the anatomy of this. Literally started with 4 circles. Did that and that. I never really like look back at my art once I'm done drawing them, but now that it's like my first time retracing the steps of how I recreated art, it's like, oh wow, it's pretty fascinating. And also, like, I cheated a little bit because I don't know how to draw that hand for the life of me, so I'm like, okay, I am not doing that, babes. Like, I'm not gonna put myself through that. Next one is one of my favorites Netflix series, Blue Eye Samurai. I've watched it like 3 times already. I need the next season to come out, please. Like, I'm begging. If you are looking for something to watch, please go watch Blue Eye Samurai. It is so peak. I wouldn't say I did the best with this piece because I was struggling with texture. I still do. Hair is looking very questionable. It just looks muddy and gross. I drew this because this was one of my favorite scenes. One thing that I am proud about myself is that when I draw these anime art, I never do trace over works. Like, even with the acrylic art on the wall, a lot of people would just print out the anime character that they want to draw and just put the plastic piece on top and trace over it. But I never did that. I drew the anime character on paper and then placed the plastic piece on top. Also love this one because color theory, like, oh, it's not your regular human skin tone. It's actually a green skin with purple hair and orange ears. Like, that's so crazy. But probably my first time working with a piece that is using very unusual color combinations. Again, goes back to the NSFW hentai-esque art style that I personally really enjoy. Not my favorite work, however, I do like that I got a little creative with the background. It's giving animal prints. The anatomy aspect of it is not the most accurate. She looks a little off. Like, something about her is a little bit off. Now, I want to go into the part that I'm really excited about, which is my own art style. This is the piece that I drew in the beginning of this year. Just kind of like, I was just like fucking around just for shits and gigs. I'm like, okay, let me try to come up with my art style, come up with my own art without any reference, since that's the only thing that I bitch about a lot as an artist. It's like, oh, I don't have my own style. I don't know how to draw clearly. So I'm like, let me challenge that. So I sat there and drew this, and she is literally the blueprint of all the art that followed after. I drew this with no one in my mind particularly, but I've been using her for all my socials profile pic because, like I said, she's the blueprint. I don't know who she is. Maybe she is me, maybe she's not, maybe she's just an embodiment of who I want to be or whatever. I don't know. Love the blue hair. It's kind of giving like paper cutout art, if that makes sense. The eyeball pattern, I was just like, I don't know why I decided to go with that, but I did, and it turned out to be one of the best decisions ever. Everything that I created from then on is because of her. Then I went through a TADZ phase. You can't see it from this angle, but my desk is entirely filled with TADZ merch. My wall and the other side is also filled with TADZ stuff. So I have a lot of TADZ merch. Actually, you know what? I think TADZ was the reason why I started doing unboxing toys and blindbox, because I was so obsessed that I started buying merch, and I was like, ugh, it'll be such a waste to not put these merch to use because I already spent so much money on them. So I'm like, oh, I might as well make videos out of them. And from then on, it kind of snowballed into what I'm doing more and more for my YouTube shorts. About a month ago or over a month ago, I was like going through it manically. So I was just doing a lot of things. I was like, I want to create. So I had 2 TikTok accounts, 2 YouTube accounts, 2 Instagram accounts, and I was making squishies, unboxing toys, making YouTube videos, drawing. Something must have been going on in here to make me go, oh, let me just shift all my focus on 30 different things so I don't have to think about anything serious that's going on in here. Drawing being part of it. And so I was like, okay, if I want to draw, how can I profit off of it? I drew one picture and I was like, I need to make a business out of this. So I made an Instagram account, posting a lot, and I'm still flopping to this day. Like, I only have like 20 followers on there. Being an artist nowadays, it gets harder. It gets worse. I'm an artist, not a business person, but unfortunately, in order to promote art, it's more than just talent. You need to know how to play the algorithm game and social media. Unfortunately, not my forte, but I have to figure that out. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do custom portraits. I'm gonna do celebrity custom portraits and wallpapers so people buy them from me. Nobody bought anything from me besides 2 of my friends. Shout out to them. Love them down. I'm very thankful that they wanted to support my artistic journey. I was just being very naive, and again, I was in a manic state, so clearly I was just like, oh, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna be successful in one night, convincing myself that this is gonna work out. Well, it's been a month, over a month actually, and nothing is going on in the financial department. At some point, I kind of just like killed that idea of selling. Nobody even is exposed to my art style and my portfolio. So right now I'm just continuously building my portfolio and perfecting my skills. This is a very humbling experience, wanting to start a business as an artist on Instagram while competing against AI art. Girl, bring yourself back down to earth, babes. Sabrina Carpenter, mind you, I'm not even a fan of her. I don't even listen to her music, but I really thought Sabrina fans are gonna pull through. When I drew this, I really thought they were gonna be like, yes, take my money. I drew for my friend. They actually bought a custom portrait from me, and this is what I drew for them. It turned out so good. I was pretty proud of this one, and I'm glad that they liked it. I love the star detail for the hair and the beauty mark. I really like star patterns, and that's why I made my signature also star. At this point, I still haven't tapped into Procreate Dreams, the animation app, but I was more exposed to it because posting stills on Instagram isn't gonna get me any traction because videos and reels is what's getting you pushed to the algorithm these days, unfortunately. So I'm like, okay, I need to figure a way out to put like video formats of my art onto Instagram. That's what got me into thinking, oh, should I do like simple animations and stuff? This was the start of my animation journey. Patchy work, as you can tell, it's not good. I actually really like this one. I will say I don't know if I like how Killua turned out, because he looks like a sickly Victorian child. This piece is a milestone for me. Mind you, when I drew this and posted it, this was only like the first or second week of me starting to take drawing seriously and drawing more frequently. This is basically inspired by the artist Blast, his latest album. So I posted this little animation and tagged him, and he reposted my art, and I was just like, oh my god, this is unreal. And not to say that that's the green light for me to be like, okay, I'm gonna fully invest my time, energy, and all that into this art thing, but it definitely felt like an affirmation when you are so lost and you don't know what you're doing, and you're kind of just giving this thing that you're somewhat interested in a go, and it's somehow getting recognition from another artist. It's like, that's crazy, especially like he's one of my favorite artists of all time. It just really means a lot to me. It was kind of in this moment that this is something I want to do for a while. I don't know for how long. Maybe one day I'll just be like, fuck this, like this is not for me anymore, and I just quit art. But at least right now, this is something that I see myself doing. But yeah, so at one point I just started doing celebrity custom portraits, because I mean, I don't know what else to draw, so I might as well use like celebrities as like my practice. This one's underscores, and I gave her this very Y2K inspired background. I liked that background that I created so much that I was like, I need to make this into my phone wallpaper, and I like it so much. So I also decided to add paper texture. Next one is Sasha Keeble. All the artists that I draw are artists that I really enjoy. I don't really draw artists that I don't care about, although recently I have been drawing people that I don't necessarily care about that much, because I'm thinking like the algorithm, I'm thinking like a marketing person. I need to draw something that's being talked about right now so it can trend, SEO and all that shit. In that sense, I am being a little untruthful. I really like this piece because all of the celebrity art that I do is mostly inspired by their albums or teaser photos. This one is inspired by her album cover, and I love the green and orange color combo. It just looks so good together, and this turned out incredible. I love this piece so much, especially with the hair detail. Her hair is so gorgeous. It's so overwhelming to draw if I were to really go in and draw it realistically. So I'm like, okay, how can I translate that into my own art style? So I decided to do cinnamon rolls on top of her head, and it turned out to look amazing in my opinion. Like, it looks so good. I don't know how to do smoke. If I want to make it cartoonish, I might as well go all the way. So I'm glad that I come up with the solution where I'm just doing 3 strands of smoke and added paper texture to it, and it turned out pretty good in my opinion. Also, the cigarette burning out. I love experimenting with different elements so I can figure out how I want to express that through my art style, and this one just worked out. One of my favorite album releases of this year, Don't Be Dumb by A$AP Rocky. So that's sometimes where I struggle, is like, oh, do I want to stick to very exaggerated cartoonish portrayal of the person, or do I want to stick to semi-realistic portrayal of the person? That's like something that I'm still finding the balance on. I probably would have done something different if I know how to draw hair rolls with tiny holes in them, but I didn't know how to do that, so I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna turn them into pink circles. Next one, I got Tyler, the Creator. This is the first piece where I experimented more than just blinking animation. This is inspired by his song That Guy. The part that this is supposed to match in the song is, oh my god, I'm really that guy. So I matched the beat to this animation, and it turned out pretty sick in my opinion. Like, okay, camera movement, like obviously it still looks very choppy and amateur, but I mean, compared to all the other ones that you saw previously, oh, this is a lyric video. Mind you, I didn't have a way to time how many frames to put for each beat. Like, I have to do that manually. I literally have to do mathematics. This app, you couldn't put like an audio over your art so you can draw and match each beat and each frame and all that. So I had to like kind of guesstimate that. I was just like looking in the mirror being like, how would the lips move when they say oh my god. Obviously you can tell the mouth is not really moving realistic. Like if you say oh my god, it would not be looking like this. Next one we have here is Sailor. Love her album, love it down. So obviously I have to draw her. I also experimented more because I was like encouraged by the Tyler the Creator animation. I actually decided to tap into the concept of, you know, gorecore, even though this one isn't really gorecore, but it's definitely eccentric, slightly off-putting. The lyric of the song is like, split you open like a coconut. I decided to take it literally and be like, okay, maybe I can split her open and then like, you know, reveal the message behind it. I loved how this turned out, even though in the beginning I was trying to make her smile, but it looks kind of odd, but also eerie in a good way because I like how odd it looks. It looks off-putting and I love that. I also just googled images of chewing gum stretched out, drew that, and use it in here because before this video I did not know how to draw like stretchy things. So because of this, I learned one more skill. That's one thing about being an amateur artist. It's like you learn as you go. You don't necessarily sit there and watch through like a 80-hour course and be like, this is how you draw hands. This is how you draw blood. This is how you draw bones. Sure, people do that. Like, people go to school for that. But for me, I think that doesn't work for me because I don't have the patience for that. I hate the concept of, like, I have to learn something by sitting there going through courses. Ugh, like, I hate that. I'd rather just be like, oh, I run into this problem. I want to do this. So let me look up stuff and then figure a way out to achieve that. One of my favorite piece, which is Ethel Cain's album cover for Inbred. I love Ethel Cain, period, but I also love the artistic concept of this whole Ethel Cain character in the story. If you don't know it, you should definitely go to YouTube and watch deep dive videos. Daughter's Preacher, literally one of my favorite albums of all times, period. So even though this is not Daughter's Preacher, but you know, I really like the concept, religious trauma and all that stuff. So I decided to recreate this art. This is also my first time including like two individuals in my art style. I was really bold and decided to experiment with the next level of animation, something that's very different than my usual chill animation. This is what I decided to turn what you just saw into. I struggled a bit with this one because how do you turn a person, the person on the left, into a sheep? With a lot of struggle, and it still looks really scary if you go frame by frame. Yeah, like what is that? Girl, I was delirious at that point when I was creating because most of the time when I'm drawing, I started from 2 a.m. and it's 6 a.m. when I'm done. It turned out really sick. I really love this piece. This is probably one of my top 3 favorites that I've made. I loved the concept and I'm so proud of myself. Also from one of my favorite artists, Dreamer Isioma. I drew this because I was inspired by his album. It's called, fake fan alert, Quantum Entanglement. I'm very thankful because the artist himself actually reposted and commented on my art. It felt very nice to like have an artist that you like your art. Like that's crazy. Like this is just a bunch of MJ stuff. I feel like most of y'all who found my channel actually found me through that one MJ doll video. Fun fact, like when I was streaming, all that people who would come in are like MJ fans because they found me through that video and they probably subscribed to me because of that, and all they would comment is like, can I see the MJ doll? Like, where did you get it? Where is your MJ doll? At one point, like, this is no shade to them and this is no hate, but like I got so annoyed, I'm just like, I'm gonna switch over to Twitch. At least like I won't get bothered by those comments asking me where the MJ doll is, like when I'm trying to show my art and draw, which is not their fault, but I'm just saying the past won't leave you alone, you know what I mean? I do love Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson's my king. I did make this bad era Michael Jackson as a wallpaper, but I've also moved on to working on another era of MJ, black or white era. This is what I meant when I said earlier that I'm drawing artists that I don't particularly care about or listen to. Like, this is supposed to be Ariana Grande because she recently just dropped her album Petal, and then, you know, I watched the music video and got inspired to draw this. And I don't regret drawing her. However, it's like, why am I doing this? But at the same time, it's also good practice. I love like the flower because the song is called Petal, detail in her bangs. This is Zendaya. So I watched The Odyssey 2 days ago, and I love the movie. That's my queen right there. For the very last piece, I drew Travis Scott as Polyphemus, again with the whole Odyssey situation, because it's, you know, trending, it's being talked about right now, so it's inspiring me to draw more. But also, I personally enjoy the movie, so I want to draw something from the movie, so it's not just entirely about algorithm and clout. As a matter of fact, these posts never get past more than 10 likes. I did this live drawing session on Twitch, so when I was done, it was almost at 6 hours. Exhausted, drained, tired, but I was so proud of this end result. Like, does this not look sick as fuck? It's giving the vibe of Rick and Morty being in every smoke shop and every weed related merch. Like, this is giving me that vibe for some reason. I also drew a grill version. I just keep outdoing myself. That's so crazy. So now that we're done with Procreate, I want to go into Procreate Dreams and show you animations that I did. And it looks so sick. Like, damn, I really did that. Like, it did that. That's insane. I don't know if I can even recreate that. If you ask me to, I really did that. I'm so proud of this one. Genuinely. Especially that tiny little water droplets sliding down the end. Like, damn. Who's hiring? Who's hiring, guys? Let me know. Next one is the Ariana Grande petal art. It's not really doing what it's supposed to be doing because this does not look like blood. The blood work on this one is very patchy and not good. Very I don't like it, but I like the concept and idea of it. I don't know if you guys saw the difference, but the eye closing has gotten much smoother compared to all the previous ones. It looks slightly more realistic because I'm splitting up more frames, so it's not as choppy and unnatural. The sheen on the grills animated that. You know, just making this video and looking back on all my previous art is like a monumental canon moment because I never really processed how far I've actually come on my artistic journey, even though I never really took it seriously. It was always just like, oh, this is my hobby and I'll draw like once every 6 months. But now that I'm being more intense and consistent with it, I can feel the progress and growth more intensely, and I think that's a very rewarding feeling. That concludes the art tour for now. This is probably just part one. Maybe I'll do more in the future when I draw more. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts. Show me your art. I would love to see your art and support your art. You will definitely be seeing more art content on this one, whether it's videos or just live streams. I think that's gonna be the next step for me and this channel, so feel free to follow along. Oh yeah, I never really made comments on my subscriber count has grown exponentially throughout the past couple of months. Like, I've never seen that kind of growth on this channel. It's crazy how playing the algorithm game actually gets you pretty far, because I've only been posting shorts. I started this channel over 10 years ago, and I wanted to be a beauty YouTuber, you know, like doing makeup and stuff. I want to get flown out to fucking Bora Bora and get brand deals from makeup brands and fashion brands. But, you know, I've changed and grown throughout the years. And even though that's not what I want to focus on anymore, it's definitely still part of me. So, you know, I started this channel literally for shits and giggles. Not even having a laptop, no iPad, no phone, even though I've been very on and off with my YouTube channel and I'm still just posting bullshit. But part of the reason why I love life is because, like, I decided to film and edit and record my life and post it on YouTube, even though a lot of them are private now, but still, that's part of who I am. That's part of my experience. I've been growing with this channel, even though it felt, for the most part, it's just me, and I never really had any engagements with my audience or, you know, subscribers and all that, because my numbers has for the longest time stayed really low. Just the beginning of this year, I only had like 160 subscribers, and now I have almost 1,000. Like, that's crazy, you know what I mean? Like, to me, like, I can't even fathom how I can have that many subscribers, because YouTube for me has always been like a personal thing where it's just for me, and it's a way for me to express creatively, whether it's through editing videos or filming videos or now doing art. It has always been something that I do for myself. That's why I'm not optimizing SEOs, like putting titles that people will click on or thumbnails. I'm not really doing this YouTube from the perspective of marketing or social media or getting the trend, getting to grow. Now I really am wanting to try to grow personally and with YouTube now having some following, even though honestly I still feel like there's only like 10 active viewers on here. Regardless, I'm still very thankful. I really appreciate anyone who consumed my content, enjoyed my content, liked my content, however you interacted with the stuff that I put out on this channel. I don't know what's gonna happen next. I don't know what steps I'm gonna take, but I'm thankful for those who decided to follow along this journey. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching again, and I'll see y'all in the next video, live stream, shorts, I don't know, but I'll see y'all again. Bye.